Yo, what is up guys, and welcome back to McAdee's Entertainment. I'm your host as always, Adam McGahee. We are back yet again with another pair of gory stories from the Marvel Zombies line of comics. In our last video, we went over the full tale of the Blondie zombie who started this whole insane saga, and that would be Zombie Sentry. I will have that video linked in the title card and the description below. In today's video, in honor of the big green babe She-Hulk, who everyone and their brother is down bad for, we'll be covering the full gory story of Zombie She-Hulk and her cannibal cousin, the Hulk, since their show is launching on Disney Plus later this week. We have already covered both of their tales, but I wanted to put them both here in one back-to-back marathon for you all to enjoy. So without further ado, grab your green snoo waifu, sit back, relax, and enjoy the full gory stories of Hulk and She-Hulk. She-Hulk. Zombie She-Hulk, like most of the heroes and villains of her dimension, was infected with a bizarre alien virus that turned them into flesh-eating monsters. She comes from Earth 2149, but her hulking origins pre-infection were very similar to the big green babe we all know and love from the main Marvel universe of Earth 616. This all changed though one very bad day when a zombified version of the hero known as the Sentry came to the planet and infected the Avengers. The affected heroes immediately turned upon contact, becoming ruthless blood-hungry savages. They then tore through the New York residents, much to the shock and horror of everyone around them. The non-infected heroes tried their best to save who they could from the cannibal onslaught, but they were either eaten or infected themselves. Upon devouring a large group of people, post-meal clarity kicked in for Colonel America, who quickly told the heroes to stop what they were doing. Reclaiming a bit of his humanity for a moment, Cap told his fellow zombie heroes that what they were doing was wrong, and that they potentially still had time to right their wrongs and save the world. He had the gang form up and head back to Avengers Mansion so they could plan strategy. However, all that cardio from the walk must have worked up quite an appetite, for as soon as they got there, they immediately devoured poor Jarvis faster than a bodybuilder who found a Chipotle. Man, Chipotle's good. Anyone want to go? Burrito bowl is on me, boys. Completely giving up on that hero nonsense they tried like 5 minutes ago, the hungry heroes caved into their demonic desires and decided that this is who they were now. They then rewired the Avengers Mansion distress signal to lure any non-infected hero, making them think that it was a safe haven. It is here that we see our girl She-Hulk report to the facility, along with a group of other heroes, only to quickly find out that it was all a trick, where they were infected and turned into zombies. The now infected Jennifer would then join her brethren in the city streets, where she would dine on the flesh of the living, which even consisted of poor MODOK. R.I.P. Royal Bighead. Given that these undead still retain their full intellect and memories from when they were alive, She-Hulk would use this power to commit one of the darkest and most disturbing acts in all of Marvel Zombies. On this Earth, Jennifer was good friends with Reed Richards and the other Fantastic Four members. She had full access to their Baxter building and used the codes to infiltrate the lab, where she brutally killed and devoured Reed Richards' children, Franklin and Valeria. Completely shocked and betrayed at their good friend for doing such a vile thing, Susan Storm knew there was no redemption from such an act. Being restrained by the Thing, Sue then used her powers to pop She-Hulk's head, where her lifeless body then slumped to the ground. While this would appear to be the end of things for the moment, the nightmare would only get worse once Nick Fury gathered the Fantastic Four and the other non-infected heroes aboard the S.H.I.E.L.D. helicarrier, where they discussed strategy on how to end things. Reed was tasked with finding a cure to the virus, while Tony Stark was charged with building a dimensional portal that would lead the survivors to safety in another world. While at first making progress with the cure, Reed would then proceed to go insane from the PTSD of losing his children to She-Hulk and would believe that the virus was the next step in human evolution. He would then purposefully infect the Fantastic Four members with the plague, who in turn infected him, transforming them into the Frightful Four. They would then infect the likes of Tony Stark and get their hands on his machine and plan to spread this deadly disease across the multiverse. Hulk. Zombie Hulk is one of the countless Marvel heroes who became a member of the Undead Legion and made his first appearance in the pages of Ultimate Fantastic Four number 22 back in 2005. Bruce Banner, along with just about every non-zombie hero at this time, was recruited by Nick Fury aboard the S.H.I.E.L.D. helicarrier to form a resistance after a zombified version of the hero known as the Sentry came to Earth and infected most of the current hero roster, turning them into flesh-eating monsters. While the comics are not completely specific on how or when Banner was infected, it is believed it happened after Reed Richards went crazy and injected the rest of the Fantastic Four with the virus, who in turn transformed him. The not-so-fantastic Undead Four then went on a rampage, infecting most of the heroes on the ship, Bruce Banner apparently being one of them. The Zombie Hulk would then join the other Undead Avengers as they stormed the castle of an uninfected Dr. Doom, who was harboring Latverian refugees. Doom and his scientists would work to construct a portal device that would lead the refugees to safety. As the humans escaped, Ash Williams from the Evil Dead movies was also here at this time to help combat the Horde. As the super zombies stormed Doom's castle, Ash consulted the use of the evil living book known as the Necronomicon to summon the deceased half-eaten humans left behind by the Horde. Their bodies were then resurrected, creating an army of evil dead who approached the castle and attacked the cannibal Avengers. Zombie versus zombie fight. Yeah man, I'm gonna need my popcorn for this one. Now despite their best efforts, the regular, everyday, run-of-the-mill zombies were no match for Zombie Hulk and the other super zombies who made quick work of them. Sorry regular zombies, I still love you guys too. Dr. Doom was then infected by Reed Richards, but was able to let Ash and the other survivors get through the portal, which he then destroyed before the infection took hold. Before leaving, Ash threw the evil book at the zombies, which was then picked up by a Zombie Hulk, who verbally announced that he was going to use it as toilet paper. I'll honestly never forget this. I never took into consideration that zombies poop, let alone a superpowered Zombie Hulk that poops. Try to get that image out of your head. You can't? Me neither. Well, hey now, I'm glad that I have some friends to hang out with in my mental trauma club. During the time of the initial outbreak, former X-Men villain Magneto was one of the greatest resistance fighters. He even rescued a young Reed Richards from the Ultimate Universe, who was tricked into coming to this world by zombie Reed Richards with Doom's portal device that he had repaired. The other Ultimate Fantastic Four members managed to escape and get Reed out of there, but not before the Ultimate Universe thing could put the age-old question to rest of who would win in a fight between he and the Hulk when he went up against the Hunger Green Giant and knocked him out in one hit. So I think it's safe to say that Zombie Hulk is kinda like this world's Boba Fett. Looks cool and menacing, but isn't quite as tough as he looks. Maybe he was just having an off day. He probably ran out of that toilet paper and was feeling down about it. I feel you, man. Magneto led the Ultimate Fantastic Four back to their reality, and he then destroyed the Dimensional Machine, so that way the zombie heroes were trapped and could not travel to the other worlds to inflict their unholy curse. Once the portal was shut, a group of zombie heroes surrounded the mutant, swearing revenge on him for shutting down their all-you-can-eat multiverse buffet. This then set off an intense chase between Magneto and the Horde, which resulted in the mutant leader using his powerful abilities to defeat several of the zombies, even bringing a building down on them. However, just like Magneto in almost every other dimension, this one got a little too cocky before he was fully victorious and had a chunk ripped out of his neck by Zombie Wasp, where he was then cornered by the other starving superheroes. Zombie Thor, despite having one of Hawkeye's arrows lodged in his throat, powered his way through the crowd to get a taste of the mutant's magnetic flesh. Just before he could get a nibble in, our lovable undead Hulk came bouncing in and proceeded to rip one of Magneto's legs right off, Feeling bad that he only got a taste of the full course, our giant green undead giant begrudgingly ate his share while he watched on as the other zombies completely devoured the remains of the former X-Men villain. Upon completion of their feast, the zombies kicked back and relaxed for a bit as they pondered where their next meal would come from. Having his stomach full of Magneto leg, Hulk then transformed into human zombie Bruce Banner, whose stomach was not quite as flexible as Hulk's, and suddenly felt all the undigested bit of bone, flesh, and probably clothing from the mutant's costume all rattling around in his stomach. I mean, that dude ate the whole thing. The purple Armani boot and all. He's not feeling too great right now. He then begins to feel a legit bone poking through his necrotic flesh and asks for someone to try to attack him to turn him back into the Hulk before his stomach completely explodes. Dude, I'd suggest maybe some Tums, but I don't think that's quite gonna do it. Thor then proceeds to whack Banner in the face with his makeshift hammer. He hits him so hard that it disfigures Banner and makes his speech slurred. This was so disturbing that even zombie Luke Cage was disgusted, who had already eaten countless people at this time. If you can make even a zombie sick, you know you done messed up. His efforts to turn back into the Hulk not working, Banner then feels the bone tear through his stomach, slicing it open, causing all sorts of surprise green zombie pus and blood to come pouring out. I really hope you guys aren't eating while watching this, and if you are, I'm so sorry. As he lays in mourning of his busted six-pack, Banner and the other zombies look on as they notice that none other than the Silver Surfer had come to Earth to announce the arrival of his master Galactus. Ignoring the man's prophetic words and just seeing some candy in a nice silver wrapper, the zombies attacked. But the Surfer proved to be more than just a pretty silver face as he blasted his hungry attackers with waves of cosmic energy. As he laid waste to dozens of the zombies, the Cosmic Warrior was completely caught off guard as an undead Thor came thundering down upon him with his homemade hammer, causing the Surfer to come crashing to the ground. Showing off the true tank that he was, the Surfer brushed this injury off and turned up the intensity as he continued to blast more waves of energy from his hands, killing countless zombies in the process. As the carnage poured throughout the street, a gimp-legged zombie Spider-Man and busted belly Banner watched on at the fight. As they watched, Bruce said that he could feel his hunger taking over again. He then truly embodied the definition of the word hangry and turned into the Hulk once again, with a fixed six-pack in the process. As the zombies tried to overpower the Surfer, the Hulk shoved his weight around to show who was boss and grabbed the poor Silver Man, declaring that he was his alone to gobble up. The Silver Surfer, not ready to let this muscular zombie Shrek turn him into lunch, fried the Hulk's face with his cosmic energy and attempted to escape. He hopped on his surfboard as the Hulk writhed in pain while the other zombies attempted to catch him. Just before he could get away, an even hungrier and angrier Hulk leapt into the air and grabbed the Surfer, furious at what he did to him, all while rotted, charred pieces of flesh fell off his green face. Guacamole, anyone? Before he could do anything, Hulk then chomped down on the Surfer's head, biting it clean off its silver-plated body. As he fell to the ground, temporarily stunned from the battle, Hercules peered into the Hulk's mouth and saw that the Surfer's head was still in there and had not been eaten yet. Becoming fully conscious, the Hulk clearly sent a message for the guy to back off by clapping his head so hard that it made his eyeball pop out. Sorry, Herc, no one likes a mooch. As the big green boy chowed down on his victory skull, a handful of the other heroes got their first taste for cosmic flesh as well. Upon completely devouring the poor Surfer bro, Hulk and the other zombies who got to eat him discovered they inherited his incredible cosmic abilities, which allowed them to shoot awesome lasers out of their hands. Talk about nutrient-dense food! Hulk and the other newly cosmic-powered zombies decided to use their power to cook their fellow undead to see if it made them taste any better. Alas, it did not. Zombie meat is still zombie meat. There's no fixing that. Upon finishing off their comrades, the zombie bros then saw that the Surfer was telling the truth and that the World Eater himself, Galactus, had arrived to the planet announcing his intention to destroy and consume it. Seeing this as the biggest num-num of all, Hulk and the other zombies tried to attack him, but Galactus showed that his power level was well over 9,000 as he unleashed an extremely powerful barrage of cosmic energy from his fingertips. Seeing that retreat was the wisest option at this time, Hulk and the boys managed to get away so that way they could form a new plan of attack against their new giant snack. Giant Man decided to lead the group to his lab so that way they could strategize. On the way, the adrenaline from the fight and the Silver Surfer head grub finally kicked in as Hulk reverted back into Bruce Banner, complete with a reopened stomach. This transformation worked to the group's advantage as Banner, Hank Pym, and zombie Tony Stark put their undead scientific minds together to create a machine that would allow all of them to combine their cosmic power into one unified beam. Now as they worked, Banner would feel the hunger taking over from time to time. To keep his mind strong and Hulk free, he would reach into his busted guts and reach in to grab an undigested bit of flesh from before and would proceed to eat it again. This is the even more disgusting version of King Neptune eating the Krabby Patty again. I can't, y'all. Zombie Bruce Banner just may be the absolute worst. Upon completion of the weapon, the zombies aimed it at Galactus and fired, causing a gigantic wave of energy to blast out, critically wounding the giant as he came tumbling to the ground. A group of cowardly zombie villains then came out of the woodwork to mooch on this big purple snack, but not before Hulk and the boys intervened and asserted their zombie dominance over this hunt and went to full-on undead war over it. Such zombie chads. I don't think the term zombie chad has really been used before, but it is now. Zombie Hulk is a zombie chad. During the battle, Giant Man quickly zaps the head off Zombie Rhino, which Hulk announces he ate, and regrets doing so because it made him feel sick. Y'all think he ate the horn too? Yeah, he definitely did. The wounded Galactus then showed he was still alive by preparing to get up and finally vanquish these hellish creatures who gave him this much trouble. Not giving the big boy an opening, Hulk and the gang leapt into Galactus, tearing him open and helping themselves to an all-out cosmic beast. Upon fully consuming Galactus, Hulk and the zombies leveled up as they now gained the World Eater's abilities, which allowed them to journey planet to planet, completely devouring it and its citizens, all while in cool matching purple jumpsuits. Normally I'm just a Hulk and shorts fan, but hey, the all matching purple is a great look for you, man. In their galactic journey to find the latest living cuisine, Hulk and his bros find their way to the Skrull homeworld where they completely decimate its citizens. As he consumes his mountain of Skrull popcorn chicken, the big guy complains that he's still hungry. Zombie Luke Cage tries to talk some sense into the situation, explaining that since they are zombies, they will be eternally hungry. Getting slightly triggered by his words, Hulk smacks Luke Cage to the other side of the planet. Never bother Zombie Hulk when he's hangry, although this would make for a perfect Snickers commercial. The Undead Avengers then eventually do battle with a dimensionally displaced Black Panther and Fantastic Four on the planet. Panther and the heroes manage to escape as the zombies stay behind and eat the remaining Skrull survivors. Hulk then complains once again that he is still hungry enough to eat roughage, meaning the entire planet itself. This then sparks an idea for the Cannibal Boys to tap into their true power they inherited from Galactus to legit eat the entire planet. He may not be the smartest, but Hulk got some points on Team Zombie that day. Congrats, buddy. I'm even more scared of you now. The gang then go on a 40-year bender, visiting every planet in sight and completely licking it clean of life. Eventually, they reach the end of the universe where they realize there was basically nothing left to eat. It was like reaching the end of a universal can of Pringles. I feel the pain. Along the way, the zombies managed to pick up some new members of the cannibal family, which included a zombie Thanos. The undead Mad Titan then proceeded to blame Hulk for being responsible for their food shortage due to him eating more than anyone else. But hey man, Hulk can't help it. He's a big boy. Us big boys gotta eat. Hulk then quickly silences Thanos by squashing his head into a fine purple gooey mess, retorting that the food shortage is now resolved and there's more to eat with him gone. See, this is why Hulk could not get his rematch with Thanos in Endgame. It would have ended too quick. They had to hold my boy back and turn him into a hipster. Still can't forgive you for that one, Marvel. The gang then remembers the dimensional machine from Reed Richards and decide to go back to Earth to rebuild it so they can unlock the multiversal gateway to unlimited num-nums. Upon returning to Earth, Hulk and the boys make a pit stop and sink their rotted teeth into Peter Quill's dad, Ego the Living Planet. See, Guardians of the Galaxy? That's how it's done. Once they get to Earth, the undead Avengers see that there was a small band of survivors led by Black Panther who survived the initial infection and began to slowly repopulate the Earth. After not having human flesh for so long, Hulk immediately leaps down and starts devouring everybody in sight, only to be stopped by Giant Man, who forces him to stop before they run out of grub again. He suggests using these remaining humans to create a breeding program so they can have an unlimited supply of food. This causes Spider-Man and Luke Cage to finally come to their senses after all of this time as they rebel against Hulk and their zombie compatriots. It was during this battle that the food finally kicked in, causing Hulk's hunger to fade, transforming him back into Bruce Banner, who was knocked out during the commotion. The survivors managed to project a shield around Wakanda, blocking most of the zombies out, but locking Spider-Man, Cage, Banner, and a zombie gladiator in. After a ferocious and bloody battle, Cage, Spidey, and Forge managed to kill Gladiator and bring the unconscious Banner into custody, where he is restrained and drugged so he would not awaken and cause Hulk-sized problems for the group. I'm no expert, but man, I don't think those 3 little belts are gonna do much against a zombie Hulk. This man needs to be wrapped in like all the vibranium you have and bury him in a metal vault like 1,000 feet under the ground. Or, just kill him. These people are being way too nice during the zombie apocalypse. After being locked out of New Wakanda, the other zombie Avengers head to Reed Richards' Baxter building so that way they could find the dimensional machine. After battling system security, the gang realized that the machine had been taken by Forge and was at Wakanda this whole time. Infuriated, the zombies return to Wakanda, where they go to all-out war with T'Challa and the Resistance. During the commotion, the sedation wore off Bruce Banner as he wiggled out of his restraints and found his way to the control room that contained the Resistance chief scientist Reynolds, who he attempted to eat to avoid transforming back into the Hulk. I told you guys you should have killed him. This caused Banner to accidentally press Reynolds up against the shield control, which lowers it, allowing the Avengers inside, all ready to tear up the survivor buffet. Upon locating the remaining humans, the zombies were all prepared to enjoy their long-awaited feast, where they then made a startling discovery. After all this time without human flesh, their biology had adapted and their hunger had vanished. For once in their violent, miserable lives, the zombies were no longer hungry. This caused them to reflect and immediately regret the 40 bloody years of genocide that they had caused. However, there was still one left with a very voracious appetite, and that was none other than Bruce Banner, who transformed into the Hulk, and Kool-Aid Man smashed his way into the wall, ready to have his share of meat. See, you guys should have killed him. No one listens to me. The cured zombie heroes tried to stop the Mad Giant, but it only made him hangrier as he brutally murdered several of them that stood in his way. Knowing that the only way to stop this was to quench his hunger, the scientist Reynolds stood in and offered himself to be eaten. Hulk gladly accepts the sacrifice and completely devours the man as the other zombies watched, terrified that this was the monsters that they had been for so long. Like the others, Hulk realized that his hunger also began to fade and transformed once again into Banner. Knowing that this nightmare would not end, Banner pleaded that the only way to end it was to kill him. The other heroes agreed and used their power to fry Banner's head, marking the end of the once incredible Hulk. Just saying, you guys could have done this forever ago and my boy Reynolds would still be around. R.I.P. my man. You are the truest hero in the entire Marvel Zombie story." The heroes would bury the dead and memorialize the fallen Hulk, but this would not quite be the end of Zombie Hulk's story. Well, sort of. This one's dead. After the funeral, the remaining Avengers would gather at the dimensional portal so that way they could go to different worlds and gather supplies so that way they could help rebuild the world that they had destroyed. The mission was co-led by one of the Resistance leaders, Malcolm Cortez, but the whole thing ended up being a double cross by him, who turned the machine on and transported the zombies elsewhere, leaving him as New Wakanda's forced new ruler. While this was the initial end of the Marvel Zombie story, it was revived once again in the pages of Marvel Zombies Return. This caused the heroes to be transported to Earth Z, which was an Earth very similar to theirs before the infection took hold. While Spider-Man tried to reclaim his hero status in this dimension, he and Zombie Wolverine's hunger returned, causing them to spread the infection here as well. Immediately regretting what he had done, Spider-Man swore to find a cure and rid the universe of the zombie threat forever. On this Earth, we encounter a Hulk who was living through the events of the infamous Planet Hulk storyline. He had been sent to the planet Sakaar by the Illuminati and plotted his return for revenge. He and the Warbond traveled to Earth's moon, where they planned to combat the Inhumans. However, they were shocked to see that Black Bolt and the other members were transformed into the undead by Zombie Giant Man, who was transported here as well. Hulk battled and escaped the zombie horde with Eloy Kaifi, but they soon discovered that he had been bitten during this fight, which caused him to transform and immediately consume her. Just what the world needs. Yet another zombie Hulk. It just doesn't end, man. This new zombie returns to Earth and begins tearing people up in the middle of New York. This catches the attention of the hero of the century, who locates and immediately begins pummeling the not-so-jolly Green Giant. He hit the Hulk so hard that he even transformed back into Bruce Banner, who begged for mercy. Thinking that he had actually knocked some sense into his former friend, Sentry then also transforms into his human form, but of course, this ends up being a trick, and Banner ends up infecting the man, basically creating a zombie Superman to be unleashed on the Earth. Man, I'm telling you, you cannot trust zombie Bruce Banner. I don't care what dimension he is from, he needs to be destroyed on sight. Zombie Hulk and Sentry would then buddy up and begin eating everyone around until Sentry betrays the Hulk, thinking that he would have more food with him gone. This causes the Hulk then to team up with Spider-Man, who convinces him that the only way to end this threat once and for all would be for all of them to die. He forms a team with Spidey, Wolverine, and Rhodey of this dimension, who became the new Iron Man, as they form the new Avengers. They then go to full-on zombie war with these newly infected heroes, with Hulk brutally killing several of them during this encounter. Spidey then unleashes his secret weapon, which happened to be Sandman, who was stored in a jar, and had his body laden with special nanites that would consume necrotic tissue. Sandman was then released, and he floods the arena with his body, completely evaporating all the zombies present, including this world's zombified Hulk. R.I.P. the Zombie Hulk number 2. And that is the full gory stories of Hulk and She-Hulk. It's a shame to see these two powerhouses fall prey to the disease, for I feel they both honestly should have been immune and would have made great survivors. It's honestly rare these days to see these two in a team-up story together, so seeing them fend off the zombie apocalypse together would make for an awesome family story that even the cast of Fast and Furious would definitely approve of. With both actress Tatiana Maslany and actor Mark Ruffalo appearing as their hulking counterparts in the She-Hulk show, I wonder if by chance we will get to see them reprise their roles in the upcoming Marvel Zombies TV show. Given the art style for that show, it would appear to follow that of the Zombies episode of What If, so if it is within that same universe, we last saw Hulk battling zombie Scarlet Witch with his fate left unknown. Perhaps they will make our boy invulnerable to the virus, and he may team up with his cousin to battle the hordes. Only time will tell. More than anything, I want to hear what you think. Did you know this about the Zombie Hulks? Was there something I missed? What other characters would you like to see us cover? Sound off in the comments. Also be sure to give this video a like if you enjoyed today's content, subscribe to the channel, and tap the bell icon to be notified of all of our latest videos. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the music in this video, it was all made by my boy Ognihs. You can check out his Spotify in the link below. You can also check out our Patreon, also in the link below. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, you are awesome and loved. God bless, and I will see you in the next one.